definitely.
How long until they actually proceeded to go to the operation then?
Well, that diagnosis was given at, I think, the end of July, August time. I was then put onto chemotherapy. I had 2 courses of chemotherapy.
I see.
The first one, again, excellent treatment for me. I used to go in and have a session of chemotherapy in the oncology suite, and then they gave me the one where you strap it on your arm to come home, and that was intravenously fed over 24 hours for me.
Oh, so you had the intravenous chemotherapy at home as well?
Yes.
That's unusual, but it's interesting to hear.
I had that one. That was my first session, and to be quite honest, I was very fortunate with that, because I was given all the literature as to the problems that I could have, like the soreness in the mouth, vomiting, nausea. I didn't really get any of that.
No.
So I went through that quite quickly, and I was supposed to then go on to my second set of chemotherapy, but they had to postpone that because my blood count was low. And when I went on to my second one, that was different again.
I see.
Not quite such a good feeling, but I could feel at the time after the first one that it had really worked on me, because I was beginning to feel as if I was eating reasonably normally again.
Well, that's good. But was it catching up on you in another way, the chemotherapy?
Well, it was making me very weak. And there were days when I really didn't feel very well at all.
I see.
But at the end of the diagnosis, when I had finished both sets of chemotherapy, I was due to have my operation early December, but they postponed that until the end of December because of my delay between the first and second sessions. And I was in a situation where I could sit and eat a reasonable meal and not get too much of it stuck. So I was told pre-op that the chemotherapy had really worked very well on the tumour.
There'd been a response, which is what they were looking for.
Yes.
And maybe that made the procedure, the surgery more feasible for you.
I think so, yes.
So then you went in for the surgery, and how, as far as you know, did that go? Because it's quite a major operation, isn't it? And which one did you have?
I had an Ivor Lewis procedure. The tumour was at the base of my esophagus, so I had a 30% reduction in stomach size and the bottom of my esophagus taken, and then everything adjusted accordingly. But the operation itself, apparently the procedure took about 5.5 hours, something like that. And afterwards, I obviously then went into intensive care.
Yeah.
And I think I spent possibly 2 or 3 days in intensive care.
Just as a routine, because that's what happens after
as a routine,
major operation.
yes. And as far as I was concerned, I had no major problems. They seemed quite happy with me after 2 days in intensive care, and then I was moving into secondary care.
I see.
And again, excellent care again. But I was determined at that stage that I wanted to get up and about, and they kept impressing on me the need to get myself mobile.
And that's definitely been a big thing in the NHS over the last 10 years or more, to get people moving as soon as possible.
Yes. And
that helps rehabilitation.
It certainly worked for me. Yes, I used to have a frame, and I'd walk around the ward, and then I'd gradually progress a little bit further and go up to the paper shop and get the papers and come back and have a read. And it took them all the time to keep me in the bed, really.
Was it your own motivation that got you up, or was it their staff encouragement?
It was a bit of both, I think. I was determined that, irrespective of how good the care was, and it really was good, my target was to progress every day and leave the hospital in the best of conditions as quickly as I could.
How long was that before you returned home?
I think I was in hospital for about 17, 18 days.
Yeah. It's quite a long time in hospital altogether.
I came out of hospital just before Christmas, about the 20th of December, something like that.
Yeah. And what shape were you in when you went back home?
I was in very good condition. Yes, because I'd gradually been building my strength up.